Hey, what's up? My name is Jelan Abrams, and as you can see, our setup's a little different than normal. So for the most part, yes, this channel is fitness, it's about health, it's about eating right, but that's important, but we also got to think about is your mental, okay? You know, actually getting up to work out when you don't feel like it is a mental struggle, you know? Eating right, instead of eating cake, instead of eating the Reese's, any kind of candy, you're eating broccoli, you're eating spinach, you're eating kale. That's a mental struggle. Okay, so today I got my friend here of about how many years, man?
Ooh, man, don't put that number out there.
basically forever, and I don't see him too often. So whenever I'm in town, we have like 2-hour conversations about life and like different things. But I'm gonna let him introduce himself and.
What's up, everybody? My name is Justin. As Jelan said, we've been cool since high school. High school was a long time ago, like the decade before last. But I'm coming here just kind of talk about the mental aspect of the fitness journey. I'm a big proponent of mental health and meditation. So we're going to sit and talk, chat just about how to get into meditation from a everyday standpoint. I'm not no guru. I'm just a regular dude that meditates.
Exactly. And it's like, if you see him, how long you been doing it for about?
Well, to be honest, I attempted it probably a couple years ago, maybe 5 years, to try to see. It didn't stick then, but I got into it again last year, and I've really been able to kind of stick through the process. And I figured out something that works for me. So that's what I really want to talk about, just kind of what works for you. Getting into it, not necessarily seeing what the quote-unquote pros do. You're not going to be there day one. It's all about building those days, habit stacking to get it there. You don't start a marathon and become a professional marathoner on day one. You got to do it mile by mile. So I'm just going to talk to y'all about that.
So all right, Justin, what made you get into meditation? What were you going through to say, I need to change and I need to start, working on my mental?
Man, that's really a deep question. So for me, it was just life. And I can go into more details of kind of surrounding what happened and what it took, but I think as we all become adults, when you're a child, you focus on, let's say, high school. You're focused on getting to college. Once you get to college, you're focused on getting a job. Once you get the job, you're focused on, let's say, marriage and kids. I'm married. I have 2 beautiful daughters. Nobody talks about that time once you kind of reach your goal, the time part after, or how to cope with being an adult, now having bills that don't stop. They come monthly. Trust me. Taxes, all this stuff that just a part of being an adult and growing. Nobody really talks about how you kind of cope with that growth and the struggles and really the responsibilities of coming with being a young man, a young woman, with anybody. So for me, I had to take the step back because from a mental standpoint, I wasn't in the best health. I felt like it was kind of foggy, really suffered from a lot of anxiety, realized I had depression. So trying to kind of take a step back to see what were the things that was causing it. So for me, I'm a big proponent of, I don't believe in treating the symptoms. I'd rather find the root. I'm a person that if I have a headache, yeah, you can take a Tylenol, but you treating the symptom. I want to kind of figure out what's causing that headache. So for me, I had to take that time, that step back to really sit down and kind of regain my time back, really focus on myself. When it comes to the work environment, I'm crazy when it comes to work. I want to be on top. I want to make X. I want to make Y. But that takes a mental. It just kind of works on your mental after a period of time, because you can focus on your family. You can focus on your job. You can focus on whatever you're focusing on. But if you're not taking that time to focus on yourself, you eventually gonna run out of time and hit that brick wall. So that is kind of why I got into it, because my mind was crying for help. And I needed to really sit down and kind of figure out the best way to kind of silence it. So that's what really brought me into meditation. So what makes you kind of want to get into meditating?
Well, for me, I read a lot. So a lot of times, like these millionaires and stuff, they always do things, different. A lot of times they wake up, they work about their mental, because they're worried about $1 million deals every single day. So you hear about, they meditate, they work out in the morning. So a lot of my things, when I was on my journey, I was trying to mimic what they were doing, what they were saying. So like a lot of times I've seen them saying meditation. I'm like, I don't know the purpose of it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really at the point when I wanted to start, and like when I was like actually like got introduced to it, I didn't really know the point. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't have any problems. I'm not sad. I'm not, you know, depressed or anything. But I feel like now, the spot that I'm in now, living by myself, it's tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, before I go home, I see my parents, I see my dog.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going home, empty apartment. You know what I'm saying? I'm going through something. I can't call you. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? My parents, yeah, you can call them, but it's like, they're going to say the same thing. So then it's just like, talking to these random girls, and I'm like, yeah, I can't tell them my problems. So it's like, who do you tell your problems when you're like, you have a sad day, you know? And it's like, I just didn't know what to do. And I'm like, you know what? I tried meditation. It's just like, it's hard. You know, I'm sitting there for 5 minutes, and then next thing you know, I fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there for 10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, that was good. But then, like, tomorrow I forget. Tomorrow I wake up late. Tomorrow, you know, you're so busy, and it's just like, you don't know where to go. So that's why I'm happy we, you know, we had a conversation of like, you know, try to start, because your mental is important. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be out there breaking down, be all sad, crying by myself. You know what I'm saying? By myself, man. I'm by myself, you know? So that's kind of like why we even started this conversation. So yeah, for me, meditation is just hard. It's hard to get into it. It's hard to be consistent. Because, you know, you forget. You know, one day I'm doing it. The next day, I'm like, I don't have time to do it. You know, it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't got time to do it. And I'm like, I forget for a month. And then I try to start it again. So what did you do? Or like, what is your routine that would help me or help the people out there be consistent at meditating?
Start slow. So for me, I had to figure out how to do it, because I was thinking about meditation in the sense of sitting down for an hour, you know, perfect silence. And that's not necessarily the case. Can I do that now? Yeah. What I started off with, I had to dedicate the time. So like you mentioned, as far as that, the millionaires, the highly successful people, they have very, very strict routines. So if you're getting up early, you're gonna go to the gym. That's a part of your routine. So what I did was I got up before my family. I would get up at like 6 or 5. I committed myself that, hey, the first hour of my day, no phones, no none of that, no distractions. So I started off with guided meditation. Get on YouTube, go look up a guided meditation, sit there. Like for me, it was, I needed to be coached through it. When you first start working out, if you've never used a bench press, you can go to the gym, but you're gonna feel real foolish, you know, not necessarily knowing how to do it the proper form. So I use guided meditation. 10 minutes.
Explain what guided meditation is.
So guided meditation is really you sitting there and somebody actually just guides you through the meditation. So instead of you being by yourself alone kind of with your thoughts, you'll have kind of like a curator that'll tell you to, hey, breathe. Because the thing about meditation, what you're really trying to do, you're trying to slow down your mind. You're trying to kind of sit in the stillness, find that peace. So guided meditation is kind of having like a walkthrough. It's a personal training, but for meditation. And there's many different sources you can find. There's tons of apps. You might feel more comfortable just kind of doing it in silence. But if you're like me, I couldn't sit with my silent mind because it was going a million miles an hour, and I was getting caught up on things from the past or the future. Anxiety, depression. Anxiety is just fear of things that you have no control over in the future, and its depression is literally not being able to let go of things of the past and really beating yourself up over it. So that meditation, the guided piece, just kind of helps you be present in that current moment. So best way to start off is find a time out the day, whether it's before you go to sleep or when you wake up, or maybe you can do it on your ride to work. Find that time, turn the radio off, sit with your thoughts, kind of see how you feel. That's really what meditation is about. It's an internal compass check of how you're feeling. Like when you wake up, what are you grateful for? Like, I get that life can be terrible at times, but if you wake up, that means you have one more day to try to get things right, to reach that goal. Don't be so hard on yourself. Life is cyclical. We go through these cycles, but the one thing that's very, very important about life is when things are uncomfortable, that means you're growing. When you go to the gym, if you work out and you don't feel no pain after, I mean, you ain't worked out. When you feel them arms, them legs sore, that means that growth is happening. Everybody want to be strong, but they don't want to go through the growing pains. And that is kind of how I can say meditation is. You're not going to be perfect day one. I don't feel like I'm perfect now because I know there's people that's been doing this for years that could probably meditate for 8 hours. Man, I'd be asleep. That's a nap to me. So just start. and don't be hard on yourself. Maybe day 1 is only 5 minutes, but you need to do day 2. You need to do day 3. You need to kind of challenge yourself to be able to go consistently so you can kind of build that muscle. You'll see the benefits because you'll have that clarity. You'll have that peace of mind. You'll actually be able to kind of figure out why you feel, you know, why you woke up on the wrong side of it. Well, what's causing that? Yeah. What you worried about? Yeah. You don't like your boss and you irritated and you hate going to work. How can you solve that? You can keep either doing the same thing over and expecting it to change. That's insane. Sure. Or you can kind of sit down and kind of self-evaluate. Meditation is like pretty much a self-check, daily self-check.
I really liked what you were saying there. So what would you say? So this is, you know, a fitness channel. So what do you think people should focus on getting meditation in their mind right before they start this journey, or do you think, yo, just jump into it? What do you think is most important?
Man, jump into it. It's kind of like just for fitness, right? So your diet is equally as important as you physically working out. Okay. Some people would say the diet is more important than you actually working out. So to me, it goes hand in hand, because as your body gets stronger, you want your mind to be stronger. True. You look at a lot of high-profile athletes. What separates good from great isn't always talent. It's that mental approach. Yeah. When you are, you know, tired, are you gonna go to the gym? That's strong mental. Right, you know. Right. So I think it's equally as important. There are people who try to do one without the other, and that is perfectly fine. To each his own. Everybody's journey is different, so if it works for you, that's fine. Just for me, it's really important to kind of really focus on your mental world, and especially because all the stimuli we have, you know, social media, Twitter, IG, TikTok, that stuff hijacks your mind. So you want to be able to kind of clear it out. I think what literally solves a lot of issues like having anxiety is if you meditate daily, because you can kind of sit and see what you're anxious about. Yeah. Once you start meditating and kind of get a feel for your own mind, things that bothered you, things that you worried about, like you worried about an upcoming bill, what's the point? Sure. You know, if you have 30 days to get to it, that means you got 30 days to work and get to it. Worrying ain't never got nothing done. Worrying just takes away from you, you know. That's a stressor on your body. So that meditative process helps with that, helps with you just become a stronger person. You know, that's why you see a lot of people with, regardless of what's going on in the world, it's like, bro, you still happy. Why? That's not by accident. It's because they're taking that time to really sit down and focus. Everybody goes through stuff, but for people who actually take the time to really kind of sit down and focus on just meditating, being still, being mindful, you start to appreciate things. You start to be present in the moment. You kind of leave autopilot and you can really start focusing on everything. Trust me, it's gonna help you in relationships, whether that's friendships, work. It doesn't help being multitask mindset all the time, because you're scatterbrained. You can't really focus on something. So I honestly believe if you're doing them both at the same time, it can only help your fitness journey, because once you start meditating, you'll be more intentional about what you eat. Yeah. You'll be more intentional about your workout, and then you'll start to see other improvements. So I think they're both equally important.
Yeah, I really like that, because like for me, I would say my physical, my eating, A1, 100% good. But I still have those days where I'm just like, yo, I'm not happy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I take my shirt off, I look great. I look great, okay?
This guy.
But you still have them days where it's like, yo, my money ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, my hair's messed up. You know what I mean? There's so many different things that like still make you insecure, or like you wanna, you know, you still go crazy about different things. Yeah. Where I feel like meditation will help, because like even though I look, you know, come on, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. But it's still, you're exactly right. There's still things where I need to work on. So I think I'm gonna try a little harder to do this meditation thing.
Man, honestly, keep that in mind, and it's a beautiful process that you actually recognize that you need to do it. But the one thing I like to kind of tell, you know, you, our other homies and stuff like that, we are never going to be perfect. We're always a work in progress. You know, that's the thing. When you look at other people, and I think people do this within our culture with celebrities, like, oh, well, they got $1 million, they got the nice car, the nice house, the pretty girl, the pretty husband. they shouldn't stress. We still people.
Yo,
they go through it, you know.
Still committing suicide.
They still committing suicide.
You know, you wouldn't think. Sorry for cutting you off, but I want to get it in. But it's just like, you think they have everything in the world, and these people are not happy. You know what I'm saying? They have the $1 million house, they have the model girlfriend, what, you know what I'm saying? All these women, whatever they want, and they're still not happy. You know, so it's like, yeah, I think the meditation is like, you're right, man. It's like, you gotta.
It's. I think it's something that everybody should do. I think it's something that you should start your kids with. You know, I think about myself as a adolescent, being young and hot-headed and stuff like that. Yo, my mom's taught me to meditate, but like culturally, being a black male, it's not something that's looked at in the most positive standpoint. Like if you tell the homies, like especially when we were coming up, like, yo, I'm about to go back to the crib and meditate for a little bit. They're like, boy, you bugging.
Exactly, because one of my things, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it in and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you going too far. But, so you're right, it's really not cool to say, oh, I'm going to meditate. Because when I think about meditation, I think of putting a pillow down, crossing your feet, crisscross applesauce, and you're like, you're like, you tell somebody you're doing that, you're like, yo, like, you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? You don't think that they're actually in tune, they're the normal one. You look like them as they're the crazy one, even though they're probably, their mental's probably stronger than anybody else.
Yeah, because it definitely takes time to, and honestly, I ain't gonna lie to you, that's how I thought about it. So the first couple of times, I ain't gonna lie, I felt stupid, because I'm like, I'm sitting here, bro, like, what's supposed to be happening? And over time, it's kind of like, hey, meditation is whatever you make it. So you can find a spot in your house, you can do it in your closet, do it in your bathroom, you can sit in the chair, you can sit crisscross applesauce, you can lay down. You lay down, you might fall asleep, but it's all about really calming your mind. That's the most important thing, is kind of like focusing on, maybe you focus on one thing, and that's just gratitude and peace. What are you happy about? And if you're saying that ain't nothing in my life to be happy about, you definitely need to meditate, because there's always something that you can be happy about it. Granted, everybody's situation might be bleak, but as long as you have breath, you can make that situation better.
And so, example, I'm driving here, right, listening to a podcast. I was listening to a podcast, and the guy was saying his grandmother's 91, right? And she was saying that, you know, she's happy where she's is, she's walking and all that stuff. And she can't drive. You know what I'm saying? And she's upset about that. And I was thinking about my grandmother, because I pretty much took care of my grandmother and stuff. She was about 72, 73. And, you know, she's sick and stuff like that. But one thing she was saying is that she was telling me, I wish I could drive. You know, it's like a simple act like that is like starting your car and driving somewhere where we'll take for granted. I drove here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, she can't do that. So it's like, you got to be able to find things that's, if you're getting up, walking with 2 feet, some people don't have feet, some people don't have arms. It's so many things that we take for granted that is like people don't have, and like you gotta be happy for that.
That's true. Like, to kind of piggyback your point, I have a blind aunt, so one of the things that she lost her eyesight kind of through a process, so she wasn't born blind, but going through that process, and now as an adult, I'm able to kind of see like how you can take something so simple like your eyesight.
It's crazy.
Like, close your eyes and imagine like that's your life.
Wow.
You know, so going through that process and kind of knowing there's people out there, it does make you appreciate. If you have nothing else, like, bro, I can see.
Exactly.
I can see, I can smell, I can hear. There's people with COVID that can't smell or taste no more. I like to eat. Imagine you pulling up to Thanksgiving, you can't smell nothing. You know, you can't smell the mac, you can't smell. I know it's a fitness channel. Thanksgiving should be a cheat day, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. But just that process, you have to find something that you are appreciative of. And just really sit down and kind of take that time to really reset your mind and do it daily. Like, everything is a habit. People get up, you should brush your teeth every day. You take a shower every day. Everybody don't do it, but you can tell. And I say the same thing with meditation. You can tell people who meditate every day, because when they tell you, it's like, that makes sense. And you can tell people who don't, because they're constantly like, you can tell they're stressing about everything. Stress ain't good for your body. You know, it's really not. It eats away over a period of time, and that tends to turn into other mental things, you know, anxiety, fear and depression and stuff like that. And then nobody should have to live like that. Everybody also might not be able to figure out on their own. Some people go to therapy to be able to kind of work through their process. Find your method. I say regardless of what you're doing and what help you can go get, it's just really important about taking that time for yourself. Like, it's you. You got one body, one mind. Start your day out kind of check, you know, see where you are mentally. And if you're not where you want to be, guess what? Make it intentional to get to that point. You know, everything is a building process. You have to do it daily. You're not going to start right now and be the world's greatest at anything. That comes over time. Within, I feel like, our culture, everybody wants instant gratification. They want to be rich overnight. They want to be big overnight. If that's your thing, that's cool. But like, I have friends of my family, or friends of the family, that like got the little stomach bypass surgery, right? And if you, for any of those who have it, there's no knock against it. The point I'm trying to make is, if you don't change your lifestyle, you can't sustain it. A lot of them that got the surgery, they gained weight back because they didn't change their lifestyle. That's kind of how I look at meditation. Do it over a period of time. It helps you change your lifestyle. It helps you really come to terms with and being at peace with things.
I like that, man. I like that. So yeah, we gonna meditate. Probably starting what? You know, to start today, tomorrow.
Man, I'm gonna say, this is my challenge to you. I would say for the next 7 days, dedicate some time. Start your day off, whatever time, whether it's night or day. Meditate. Find a guided meditation thing on YouTube. 10-15 minutes. Dedicate that time. Do it in your closet. Do it wherever you find peace. And then see. It's about building the habit. Do 7 days and go from there, man.
I like that, man. All right. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it. All right, guys. So we're going to do 7 days of meditating. I'm going to do it. Hopefully one of y'all join me. At least one of y'all. 7 days, I'm going to come back. Yep. I'm going to show a video of my results. Yep. How's that sound? Sounds good. All right. So 7 days, we'll see that. But I do appreciate you, Justin. Man, this video is, you know, was helpful. I'm probably gonna start today. Yeah. Or should I start? Start tomorrow. So
start tomorrow. Yeah. Like before you, I say after you get up, before you go to the gym. That should be your pre-workout. Okay. Kind of get your mind ready before you get your body ready. It's no different than stretching before you work out. Exactly. It's mental stretching.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So tomorrow we're gonna be meditating for the first time, 10-15 minutes, and then in 7 days, we're gonna see what happens, right? All right. Well, thanks for watching. My name is Jelan Abrams.
I'm Justin Vickers.
And we meditate now.
Everyday thing, baby. Gang action.
Gang action.